combination of Dirty Dozen, Seven Samurai, and Star Wars in space.
Friends, if you're looking for real old school laughs, you're in for a treat because we've got them right here. Flip City Magazine. Remember Mad Magazine? Then it went woke? Well, don't worry. Flip City has no chance of going woke. That's right. 4 times a year, you'll get an actual printed magazine full of jokes, stories, comics, and more, all about today's pop culture, entertainment, and woke politics. Flip City takes terrible entertainment trends we love to hate with hilarious parodies of Lord of the Rings, Stranger Things, The Walking Dead, Star Trek, Hunters, and more. Trust me when I say there is nothing else like Flip City on the market. So subscribe today. It will be delivered in print, or you can even get it digitally if you're one of those wacky Zoomers. Either way, follow our link and sign up today, and if you put in midnight, you get an extra 10% off. Check out Flip City Magazine today.
We're gonna get a little bit crazy, wild and maybe even vulgar if you please. It's after dark and we're gonna light it up. Some fun in store for you, no tease. It's time for Midnight Edge. Dark, a little naughty. We'll hopefully make you chuckle, but we ain't trying to hurt nobody. So get ready quick on the double, cause it's time for Midnight Edge. After dark.
Tonight, Hollywood never learns. We got a Legally Bond prequel, Roadhouse sequel, and of course a Rings of Power trailer and more. Welcome to Midnight's Edge After Dark. Welcome once again to the program. I'm Tom Connors. We have a few more panelists yet to join us, but we have a Canadian CC Karaoke joining us tonight. How you doing?
Doing all right. I've actually discovered the Mark Thompson read audiobooks of the Thrawn trilogy, and they're fantastic. I highly recommend it. Being
Yes,
his
they are.
George's birthday, like he's a
great.
great voice actor. You got the music in there, the sound effects, brings the whole thing to life. If you want to just forget all the Disney stuff and listen to the true sequel trilogy, it's well worth your time.
Thompson's fantastic. I second that.
Yeah, you have to hear it. But yeah.
And look what happened, just as I predicted. How you doing, Price? Still getting his gear going. While he's getting his gear on, Kalame!
Hey, what's up, buddy? Thanks for having me. Buddy's on the panel, friends in the chat. Let us geek this tonight.
And can you read us Price of Reason?
Yeah, I can hear you. For a second, I couldn't hear you, but now I can.
Okay, good. Welcome to the program. As I predicted, you'd come in, and I'm glad you're here because I'm going to let you boys talk about Nguti Twat a little bit.
Cool, yeah.
Or the other guys get here. So, welcome to the panel.
Thank you. Yeah.
You can't avoid his chocolate gayness.
Now, I saw your review. I unfortunately subjected myself to the same torture you did.
Was my review okay, though?
It was excellent. I agree with you.
Oh, wow.
What I've heard.
Well done.
Thank you.
Doctor Who fan of 42 years here. And I've been in pain for the last 10 of it, pretty much.
Well, now you know the answer to everything because you're 42 years in.
42. Life, the universe, and everything.
To be honest, this isn't Doctor Who. This is something else.
No, it's not.
Well,
It's indoctrinization Who. Sorry.
IMDb has it listed as a new show now, right? Season 1 of a whole new Doctor Who show.
But I wish they would stick to that and not mention. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's like a Bud Light situation. They want a new audience. They don't like their old audience.
Nope. And yet they continue to reference, throw the memberberry references in there. They can't even get that were true. They should just completely never even mention, because they threw a bunch of mentions into this garbage of old stuff. Like, why are you talking about that? Why? That's garbage. That's all a bunch of evil old show made by a bunch of Rossicists. What's that in there for?
They're talking about Susan from the early '60s. Why are they talking about her? I mean,
Why mention her and say she's yeah? He mentions that he's down there on Totter's Lane where he first, the very first episode on Unearthly Child takes place, and his granddaughter Susan talking about that stuff. Wait a minute, why? That didn't happen. Yeah, I wish he did. I wish we just just not even mention that stuff since he's not the doctor. Sorry, go ahead. It pisses me off, man.
No, you're
It
fine.
hurts.
So you watched the 2cc, right?
No, I watched
okay.
the special. I watched the specials and then I bailed. I noticed that IMDb has it listed as a whole new show.
It does. Yeah.
for those who missed it, they had an episode where the villain was a drag queen, and the drag queen, before I don't know if she killed him or whatever it was, got upset because he didn't use the right pronouns. This actually happened in the episode.
Very beginning. By the way, in 1925.
1925, how's the guy supposed to know her pronouns, right? But whatever.
He says, "What? You're a what? I mean, it's like, you're who? You're what? I mean, that's stupid."
I saw the Twitter clips. That was enough pain for me.
Jinx Monsoon is the person's name. Yeah. One of RuPaul's shows, I guess, where them came from or whatever. Oh,
right.
God.
I mean, I mentioned it in my video that back in the day, they used to go around and look like which Shakespearean West End actors, whatever it is. They used to bring all these kind of high-end Shakespearean actors to be on the show. And now, they look at RuPaul's Drag Race and they're like, we got to have this guy. Or this they, them, or whatever you want to.
Yes, it's so bad.
It looked to me, honestly, like some gay dude doing cosplay of Bette Midler in
pretty much
Hocus Pocus. That's
very
what
much
like.
so. By the way, in an actual good episode about a crazy character like that, you might not care so much. As everything else, it's horrible too. It's an unbelievably stupid story. That person is annoying, by the way. So if that were somebody, I don't care how flamboyant or crazy they are, in a good episode that they're funny, who cares? But it wasn't funny. It was just annoying and stupid. And it's just horrible. Unimaginative garbage that they rehashed. They rehashed all kind of stuff from old episodes in there to try to make, I don't know what Davies was thinking he was going to make some fans get nostalgic about, because they're already pissed off that they're out there saying bad things about fans in the real world. And you watch this guy, every Doctor Who, of course, I got to admit, I didn't think anybody could ever be worse than Jodie for a lot of reasons. Just for the fact that, but let's leave all the other ones aside. She's terrible. She's absolutely annoying to watch. She has no charisma. She's just awful. Every other actual Doctor, good episode, bad episode, doesn't matter. Even in a terrible story, because they've all had terrible stories. That's the Doctor. Boom, that they managed to cast it. Look, I can't stand any of the stories in Capaldi's era. He's such a terrific actor. You buy into it from him at least. You still like him. I love Matt Smith, and he had a lot of not so good stories because Moffat was getting worse. However, he's just terrific. You look at that kid and you go, my God, he makes me believe that's 1,000+ year old Time Lord in that body, because he pulls it off. He's got the gravitas. So each Doctor has to have that first. She didn't have it, and he is even more. Ncuti does not bring any of that from his performance. And once you don't have that, it doesn't matter how bad the story is. The Doctor is the most important thing about all of it. If you're not sold on him, because in a dumb episode, you'll go, oh, Smith or Tennant or Eccleston, or more important, Tom Baker. People, oh, they were really great in that episode, but the story had this, that, and that wrong with it. But you're still back next week because you love them and it's a good show. If the Doctor doesn't step to the forefront and be the Doc that you buy into it right there, you're not going to forgive the stupid stories. You're not even going to pass on to the next story and go, oh, well, that was crap. Let's see what the next one is. It's over if the Doctor's not good.
2 episodes in a row, he ran away from his enemy, fearing for his life, which was really weird. And in addition to it, that's writing. But in addition to it, yes, he whatever he is in his personal life, whatever his preferences are, whatever he, his background and all that, none of that matters when you're acting in a role. And he certainly, as an actor, he could have played the Doctor in a way that's more suitable for the Doctor. But instead, It's
Yeah.
become between him, Disney, BBC, and the showrunner Russell T Davies. It's become about I want to see myself on the screen. But you're not. Whatever you are in your regular life is not. That's not the Doctor, and I think that's the problem here.
Yep.
But it's only a
Yeah.
problem for us because Disney. This is exactly what Disney and all these other people wanted, so they're getting what they asked for, I guess.
Yeah, you're right. No viewers.
Right.
They said, don't watch it if you don't like anything, and go touch grass.
Go
Is that
touch
big
grass.
thing? Well,
Go
good.
touch, everybody went to
Hey,
touch grass, I guess.
your terms are acceptable.
And if you
Bye.
don't like my politics, don't buy my book. Problem solved.
Yep. No, truer words never spoken. Absolutely. This is, except fools like me who actually subjected myself to it because it's, oh man, I don't know why. I'm barely even reviewing it, but I don't even review it. I don't make videos or anything, but I make myself watch it because I want to be able to at least be informed on it. And I don't, unless you want to be informed in discussions about it, people don't bother. I mean, it's horrible.
I mean, it's good to know. I report on stuff, so I should know what's going on.
Yeah, you're
but it's
right.
Really,
Yeah.
There's no emotional connection here. I already knew from those specials that if there was any chance of saving this thing, it was gone.
Yep, out of here. Well, and look, I'm a bit. Look, Russell T Davies is popular with a lot of people. I'm not saying I hate everything he did. I liked a lot of what he did early on, but I'm been a pretty big critic of Russell T Davies, even his first run, which I like some of it. So I'm original. I'll just admit it up front. Original Who's my favorite, but I have liked some of the modern Who from 2005 on up. I've liked some things Davies done, but I've disliked a lot of other things he's done. But still, it was a good show that we were all excited about from 2005 up to about 2013, the 50th anniversary. And after that, all the excitement kind of went away from me. And so Moffat also did a lot of things I didn't like as a showrunner, but it was still watchable and fun, and sometimes a great episode would pop up and they had really good casting. Now all that's gone for me.
This is like the bottom of the barrel phase, where we're at now.
Yep, absolutely bottom of the barrel.
Well, and see, as you were saying earlier, we all went out and touched the grass, right? Or at least those who would normally be sitting there watching the show. But
Yep. And then they blame the weather.
They blame the weather.
They blame the weather. Well, it's because people were out touching grass, like you said.
You told us to. We did.
Yeah.
And as if like from some strange
and it got
playbook.
much more audience appreciation.
Nice.
Wow.
It was Charlie's Angels 2019 all over again.
Hey, Nick.
Hi. It's
What's up,
just
bud?
crazy how this is all happening again. I remember the headlines. Hey, this movie's not for you. Why aren't you guys going to see this movie a month after it came out? Less than a month after it came out. Now we have Pronoun Who show. I'm just like, yeah, I don't know anything about Who, but now is definitely a time for me to not watch this. So I'm good. So they can blame themselves for their own failures. Hey, you should give your audience credit. They listen to you. They actually went out and touched grass, did all that jazz. So I think that's a win-win for everyone. You wanted them to buzz off. They buzzed off. You should be happy.
And then that idiot Jinx Monsoon said that, well, to hell, basically said to hell with all the bigots, and only bigots. If for every bigot that'll leave and not watch anymore, three new people will come in. I don't think so.
Yeah, based off of what? How?
Nothing. Based off of magic, I guess. No, not quite.
This show is screwed, and it'll be just another walking corpse part of D+. It's another walking corpse.
2 years, then it's going to probably be over.
Yeah, if they actually cancel it, that's the thing. Will they actually do it? It's not like they shouldn't have for a while now. It's more of like they like to keep these things going just because they believe they have to maintain the status quo per se.
I'd be surprised if it doesn't completely go away. They did once before.
I did not know that.
For 16 years. There was a 60
Yep.
if you don't count the stupid 96 Fox pilot, which was garbage, but
Yeah.
now it's brilliant compared to this. But you don't care at that. Doctor Who went away for 16 years with a 1-episode reprieve is 96 until from 89 to 90 to 2005. And it was we pretty much seemed like a miracle that it got brought back. But yeah.
Well, Doctor Who is
Yeah.
a dead show walking, like the Star Wars shows, like the Star Trek shows, like a lot of the other major IPs. It's crazy how a lot of these things haven't end up in the ground sooner. It really is.
Well, the children need special FKH 10, buddy. I know what you're saying, but that was just a special one-off. That wasn't really because that there you get the 2001 Curse of the Fatal Death special too, but they're not really. It's not the show being brought back. It's not the same. Sorry, someone said that in the chat. I'm sorry.
Anytime Disney
no, you're
gets
fine.
involved, the show seems to die.
Hmm?
It was already
Well,
dead
if it
before,
wasn't,
but
I was going to say, yeah, the show was already.
it was already dead. But if there was any chance in the world, once like they added Disney to the mix, that was it. That there's no chance that they can revive it.
Hearing Bob Iger say mining IPs several times on that earnings call.
That's like somebody who is having a heart attack being told by the doctor to get up and walk it off.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Like at that point, like Doctor Who's like, sure, that's the trick, and then takes like 2 steps and just crumbles to the ground.
Yep.
That's about where it's at right now, and I feel bad for you Whovian fans because I'm not a big Doctor Who fan, but I can see it on we talk about all the time with Kathleen Kennedy and some of these other people. Like, I don't actually genuinely think Kathleen Kennedy is actively trying to destroy Star Wars. I think she genuinely thinks she's trying to do the right thing. Not the people behind Doctor. I think they are deliberate, and I've even heard enough stuff from the people involved, even Davies and others, who are deliberately doing this. They're doing this on purpose, and it's like you deserve every fucking thing you get from the fans at this point.
Yeah, because for years he said he didn't want to come back. All of a sudden he agrees to come back when he gets a bunch of money thrown at him from Disney. And unfortunately, a lot of fans who did like his stuff, which is fine if you liked this stuff before. I like some of it. They got excited, and that built up a whole bunch of new excitement after the horrible Moffat and Chibi eras, especially the Chibi era, Chibnall.
Right.
But he was able to say, I could come back for a while. I'm going to make me some big time Disney money that I'm out here. And I'll make it about my message since I really don't care. Because in the years when he wasn't doing it after he left, he didn't give a crap. And he had some horrible things happen in his life. His husband or whatever, his partner passed away. And he became far more, he was actually fairly subtle in his messaging in the original run from 2005.
Well, and I brought that up too. I wonder if that was more so just because they wouldn't let him get away with it.
It pretty much was. In other words, yes, it was still pretty. You can see it. You just didn't mind much because it was a good show with good stories.
Right.
And it wasn't. Yeah, but it was more subtle. I think that's exactly what it is, Tom. Because he was just he thought there was still Doctor Who was still an institution at that point.
Right.
But the degeneracy of the BBC so much as it got worse and worse. Now they'll let him do anything. So he figured I could do whatever I want with it. Makes me some big Disney money. And if it flops, who cares? Because I'm tired of this crap anyway. But I'll get all my messaging in there and I'll ruin it for all those horrible bigots.
I actually did a video that back in the day, some years before he became the showrunner the first time, he and a few of his friends used to sit in a pub in England, in London or something called the Fitzroy. And apparently they had all these ideas of what they wanted to do with the Doctor Who franchise, and he ended up becoming the showrunner. But it seems like they were always very excited about that kind of messaging. Even then, it's just like what you said, Klobby. Initially, they wouldn't let him. Back in the day, you couldn't just go into the BBC and say, well, I'm going to do all this stuff with drag queens now in Doctor Who. Nobody would have approved it back then. But today, he can just say whatever he wants, and everybody... They embrace him.
But he creates a character. For example, when he was engaged and he cared, he created a character like Captain Jack, who was not just gay. I mean, he was he was omnisexual. So yes, gay, and he did okay. But he was a character that no one cared because he was brilliantly written, brilliantly played by John Barrowman. The fans loved him. Nobody gave a crap. Then he created him. Then he put him on a more adult show like Torchwood. But nobody cared that you created a character that happened to be, you know, flamboyant and all that stuff because the character's so good. Because he and of course Moffat created him for him. But you know, he was in on it. And people were fine with that. He didn't, I mean, so it was almost like it wasn't really messaging. He was just a character that happened to be one way, but he never learned from that. Apparently.
Well, and here's the thing, I'm not a fan, and here's my observation in a nutshell. I see shit like this, and I'm looking at it going, but wait a minute, isn't one of these characters a villain? And wasn't you bitching for years and years and years and years and years about being portrayed as villains?
An evil
just
god.
like all of a sudden, like all of a sudden I see all this gay coding in Disney films and they are gravitating towards the villains. So I don't want to hear no more about the villain crap. And as far as Shooty Gatwa, if like the best you can do is play chocolate and gay, guess what? You're not a fucking actor.
He's not.
You couldn't do it. There's no fucking way he could play straight. Not for more than 2 seconds, probably. I've seen enough interviews with the guy. He's so flamboyant. Yes. Smoking. He's so flaming.
And he has no command presence because of it. Because in both those episodes, all three of the ones he's in, actually, he never ever gives you a scene. Because the Doctor is a very silly character, and always that's one of the things we all love about him. He's silly. He'll get really crazy, and then, but when the push comes to shove, he's got this dark edge. He'll still just snap into it, and he'll have the arrogance, and he'll be intense, and he'll be sometimes like really, really scary to the baddies because he's and he'll get really serious, and he can flick it on like a switch. And all these actors are so good, they sell it perfectly. He has shown no evidence of being able to do that, and if you don't have
he's always the same thing. He's always the same thing. But I'm saying
he has shit for range then. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, Ian McKellen, I see him in a movie. I don't really think about what like his preferences or anything like that because he's just a good actor, and whatever role he takes, I believe he's doing that role. So that's all that really matters. But this guy isn't of that caliber. He just, I guess, knows how to do that one thing that he does, which is pretty much play himself.
Yep. Tom Baker can be silly and fun, and then when it comes to the serious, pull off the serious beautifully. On the other hand, John Pertwee seems mostly like reserved and most of the time very even keel and stuff, and then can be really funny because he was a comedian originally. They all had that range. Every one of them had the fun, lighthearted, wink, wink. He was there. He made the audience feel good because they all loved him, and he was this all-powerful Time Lord, but he was fun. And then when it came time to face down the baddies and get serious, he could do. Every one of those actors could do it.
I loved when John Pertwee did karate chops.
Yes, Venusian karate, they called it. It was called Venusian karate. Yeah.
No, it's redonkulous, and I feel bad for the fans.
Well, everything ends. If it were just, if it were just something that ended and they stopped making it, that's easier to take. Then that was tough in 1989 when we got screwed over. That was a different reason we got screwed because Michael Gray, the idiot BBC controller, hated Doctor Who and he destroyed it. But that's still something getting canceled. We all have to put up with that with our favorite shows. Getting brought back and then dragged and beaten to a bloody corpse and then dragged up and down the street. That's what's been happening to it for the past 7 years or since the Chibi era. That is what really hurts.
I don't even think it's that complicated, right? I mean, if you create good content for a while, you put out a great season, great stories, great acting, then people will draw back. Like the general audience will draw back into it, right? And let's say you start a new season and it starts with Peter Capaldi transforming into the new Doctor. You're going to get some clapback from that minority of bots, right? But the vast general audience isn't going to complain that it's confusing that it was Peter Capaldi who was transforming into the new Doctor. They're just going to enjoy the fact that it's a good story and a good episode. And the fans will tell them, yeah, this is great. We're really happy with this. And that'll propel the general audience on. And, it might take a couple, 3, 4, 5 years, but you could build it back up. It just, you're not going to do it like this.
Well, and I mean, Sanders says I can't play black and gay. I'm like, no, bullshit. I just can't be blackface now. That's the problem. I am a professionally trained actor, sir. I will play anything you ask. It's like, you want me to be a gay dog? I will figure that shit out. As long as the money's right. But what isn't right for Doctor Who, and this kind of, I guess, sum up the entire conversation for you guys. The ratings are so great that the show's ratings have not been this low since 1963. Now, to put that into perspective,
Holy shit.
it's not the lowest of all time, but think about it for a minute. In 1963, how many households do you think actually had television sets in the UK?
Not a lot.
No.
And the show wasn't like, it took a bit of time until it was a hit.
And they think this is one of the first times they changed the Doctor as well. That was like the whole thing or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, that was the lowest rating they had ever had, was back in 1963.
Well, that was in the first year of the show.
Well, then,
And-
that's why, whatever
when the
reason
first
it was.
Well, you
yeah.
mean,
When the fir-
you mean when television got 20, 30, 40 million people watching?
And the first episode
Not
of the
even.
show was aired right after Kennedy had been assassinated, and therefore
What do you
they
mean
had
now, CC? Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
No,
no,
you
I
were
was just
saying
saying,
about
like,
Kennedy
okay.
being assassinated.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes, it was, and therefore they had to go back and re-air it again later. With
That
somebody
might have been the
watching it.
reason. Yeah, well, and like I was saying earlier on Mr. H, like TV was kind of new still, right? You know, and there's that joke in 1955 and Back to the Future is like nobody has two TVs. Well, the bigger joke is it was kind of a luxury to still have a TV. I mean,
Oh yeah,
in general.
and it's
So
not
that's
like
what
it
I
is-
was.
Yeah, it's not like it was in the States. I don't think they had any color television shows at that point.
So my
Over
point
there.
is the only reason the ratings were so low is because they just didn't have enough people to watch yet. There's probably people over at other people's houses watching, right? Because that was the thing for a while.
Well, yeah. There wasn't so much. There wasn't 1,000 different things you could have watched at that time.
No.
That was the event.
I remember my mom telling me about, like, you know, the family down the road because they were a farmhouse. Family down the road got a TV, so for a while it was every family would come down and watch whatever the thing was. You know, she's, you know, saw like the Beatles or whatever and stuff on Ed Sullivan at some neighbor's house. You know, with a bunch of the neighbors watching and stuff. Maybe by then I don't remember if she said by then they had a TV or not, but like I swear when I would like go over to my grandma's house, they still had the same TV from when they first bought the damn thing.
You should
But
have kept
anyhow.
it. It's probably worse.
Well, worst part is, Price, that thing worked until their antenna got struck by lightning and it discolored the television.
Oh no.
And that thing was like 20 years old then at that time. But we got Mikey in the house.
Mikey,
I have a question.
What?
Wait, thank you. But I have a question, Tom. Tom, you're white, right?
Wait, let me check.
I think he is.
He
I
identifies
can
as
sing
white.
karaoke. You're white, right?
Very white.
Clobby, you're white, right?
As far as I know, yes, sir.
Price the reason I know is white.
I think so, yeah.
Wow.
Nick Weiser for sure is white. I just want to know
Yeah.
why you white people are talking about Doctor Who and I'm sick of you guys talking about something that was not made for you.
That's true.
It's not made
True.
for you.
Technically not made for straight white males, so I think we're all still screwed.
This was not made for you white people. I read it somewhere before their Twitter account was deleted.
Yep, white straight white males.
That would be the Metro that pointed out straight white men. Doctor Who was never made for you. Then they changed it.
Yeah, to just for you to cover their ass, and that didn't work either.
Yeah.
Like you said. Well, I guess wish somebody told me
Mikey
this
coming in
in
here firing hot.
I wish somebody
Yeah.
told me this in 1982.
Yeah, you guys didn't get the memo. This wasn't made for you.
Well, you would know
Yep.
because you're marginalized, so you would be the first one to
Yeah,
point us out. Thank you for setting us right.
Yeah,
So,
I'm
uh,
marginalized. You cracker folk, you cracker.
Call
an
me a
awful
saltine.
I'm an awful racist. I don't even know how to be a proper racist. Here's Mexican Iron Man insulting Midnight Sage After Dark Crew. Okay, you guys, you know what you guys are? You guys are are cracky cracker cracks.
Cracker, cracker, crack.
By the way,
what?
Mikey, how come you made
Throw
it
in
seem
a
like
honky or two.
Yeah.
Mikey, you made it seem
You
like I
guys
was
are
especially
honky.
white.
You guys are honky tonk, crackery cracker.
No. Just call us honkies.
The donkey
Honkies.
donk.
Like donkeys.
You guys are so honky that when you drive your car,
That's not how it works.
oh, you guys are okay. When you drive your car and honk the horn, and it honks the horn, it says cracker, cracky, crack. No, that's stupid. Hold on. I'm getting okay. This doesn't work.
You're
Man,
horrible at being racist.
You need to be better.
I'm awful. I'm trying to be a racist non-YouTuber.
You
Very
need to
horrible.
take a racist clash. Maybe that person who wrote that article could help you out.
And Goddess of Whim is correct.
Give
We're
some
saltine
pointers.
Americans. Thank you very much.
That's
But Mikey, I have a question. You made it seem like you thought I was especially white in your description when you were saying, "Oh,
How
I
do we know
white."
that Price is not actually not white?
Right,
don't know yet.
that for sure.
Yeah, does
I'm,
that
I'm
know
not
that
saying
for
that I'm not white. I'm
100%.
just saying
He could be a brother.
you could be.
I could be
You have
anything,
that
really.
deep voice, man.
right.
I do have a very deep
Yeah.
voice.
Well, you know what? Okay, you know what, Price?
Here's the real test. Sing some Motown, Price.
Yeah.
I bet you're wondering how I knew about your plan to make me blue.
All right. Bad test. He
I don't
passed
know
that
if
one.
he's
All right,
white. He might
Yeah,
be
no.
white.
All right.
Yeah.
If you're not white,
Yeah, sorry, and I
I'm
chose
playing with
Marvin
you.
Gaye. Like you have to
You
really know how to.
Hey, yeah.
yeah, that
Maybe
test
if I
didn't
would
work
have
out.
chosen
You gotta
like the
choose like Benny
weekend.
Pendergrass or something like that, maybe.
If I would have chosen like the weekend, I could have gotten away with it. But
Oh yeah, like modern shit, definitely. Yeah.
You'd have to do Rapper's Delight from memory.
I said hip hop, hippie to the hip hip.
All right. Hold on. You
rock it to
passed
the
that.
bang,
All right.
bang,
You white people are getting frustrating now.
Don't ask
White
me on
people.
rap.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
Speaking of white people, we lost a legend, and he happens to be white, or happened to be white.
Yep.
Goddess of Whim sent in $5, and we need a moment of silence for B movie king Roger Corman. A legend lost on Friday, but I mean, he lived a long, very fruitful life. And it was sad to hear the news, but was hoping he'd make it to 100. But just the same, I don't think there's been too many guys as influential as Roger Corman has been in Hollywood over the past 50, 60 years or better. So he will be missed. Anybody got anything to say about Mr. Corman, king of the B
Amazing.
movies?
I
Respect.
love
That's it.
Battle Beyond the Stars.
Oh, you know who else loved Battle Beyond the Stars?
Who?
It's a combination of Dirty Dozen, Seven Samurai, and Star Wars in space.
I'd lay you $10. He'd never even seen it or heard of it.
Okay, so
all right. So can I just come on one show and Zack Snyder's name not be brought up?
Oh, you've heard of Harvey Corman. Okay, I was gonna say.
I have almost
Roger Corman is no relation to Harvey Corman. Roger
Heck, that-
Corman has been part of Hollywood for many, many years. He especially gained notoriety with a lot of B movies like Little Shop of Horrors, not the musical version, but the original version. Death Race 2000, Battle Beyond the Stars, and countless number of Star Wars ripoffs after that.
And he gave such names as James Cameron.
Yes,
Early
and
work.
Here's another right off to the side of me here. Here's another one of his Star Wars clones, sort of Star
Right.
Crash. So there you go.
Little Ron Howard, little Opie. He gave him a movie called
Yep.
Grand Theft Auto that got him
Joe
first started
Dante.
as a director. Joe Dante.
I think even John Landis he was involved with.
Yeah, I think so.
There's a lot of other names. Yeah.
Yeah. Rick Baker, I think, worked for him, didn't he?
Oh yeah, a lot of the
Stan
special effects
Winston?
guys.
Some of those
Yep.
guys, a lot of them. James Horner.
Yep. Yeah, he will be missed, and there was a lot of love coming out for him. So
What do you think of Turtles, though? What do you
I
think?
think he liked turtles.
I like turtles.
He probably did, especially if
Yeah.
they killed you and ripped your face off for a budget. like I love hearing stories about Roger Corman. Like Roger Corman was just amazing at some of the stuff he would do. And he's been in a ton of movies. What's funny is you've seen him in movies, you probably don't even realize it. He's been in stuff like Silence of the Lambs and other things. He always plays like a senator or an FBI agent or a cop or a judge. But he's there.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
I've seen him and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's got almost as prolific of an acting career as he does a producing career. And he's actually produced some mainstream stuff or been involved with some mainstream stuff at times. But yeah, Brian, I think you brought this to my attention, but somebody did anyway. But Paul Schrader just needs to learn to read the fucking room and shut the fuck up.
Oh no, did he?
He was just all like, "Oh, Roger Corman wasn't all that great. He was exploitative and blah 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 blah
Oh
blah."
God.
Oh, shut the fuck up. He didn't rub the lotion on the skin and didn't get the hose again. He was just an agent. But yeah, Jack Nicholson is another. I mean, actors. We haven't even got into the actors and stuff that he helped get started. I mean, come on. Not only that, a lot of actors he would give jobs when nobody else would. You know, he was even into Godfather too. That's right. I was trying to think of some of his other prolific ones.
Oh
but,
yeah.
yeah.
Huh, well,
Roger Corman also produced movies like Rock and Roll High School.
That's what I mean. Besides just his, well, that was one of his, but I mean, he's also had like help. He would help getting other movies made and stuff too. I'm trying to think there was some other prolific movies that he had a hand in, but yeah, Alien was one of them offhand. I know. Critters, stuff like that. Because he was originally, I think, going to make Alien, and then when it got bigger than what he was going to do, he put it back into turnaround so they could sell it to Fox.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see what he would have done, but I'm kind of happy that it ended up in the hands that it did, because I think
It would have been
been a very
amazing.
different.
We already know what it would have been, kind of. Have you ever seen Dark Star?
yeah.
No, I haven't actually.
Okay, check out Dark Star. That's probably close to what it would have been, just horror instead of comedy. And Klobby knows what I'm talking about. Dark Star is John Carpenter's first movie.
Mm-hmm. And Dan O'Bannon
And Dan O'Bannon basically he wanted to make Alien then, but John Carpenter ran with this other idea and they made it more of a comedy and stuff. Then he took the same concept and then transferred that into Alien. And that's probably why John Carpenter didn't direct Alien. So, because him and Dan O'Bannon did not get along, I guess, very well. So, two very strong-headed men, though, it sounded like.
Yeah.
And this is true. Nick Castle did play the alien in the beach ball alien.
One of the greatest characters in all of cinema history.
The best part about it is you'll be watching it and you'll be like, what is this? And then you'll get to you'll get to a joke in the film that sells the movie for you. And from there on out, it is just hysterical. Right? Because it's like it's kind of like The Office before The Office. It's like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because you've got these guys talking to their well, at least Penrose or whatever, talking to the
Pinback.
Or Pinback, that's what I meant. Talking to the computer. And you know, so they're doing like the talking head thing like they do in The Office. But then it also cuts to stuff that's going on in the ship at the same time. And of course, there's this one guy who's not even supposed to be there. That's part of the joke without getting into too much more. Then you got these other guys who just are real idiots that are they're three guys or whatever.
Back, and I can't remember the other guys' name.
Yeah. It's goofy as fuck, put together on a shoestring, and the alien is literally a beach ball.
I love the bomb though. The bomb's the best.
And the whole thing the bomb is also hilarious too. There's a bomb that keeps trying to go off. They got to keep reasoning with it so it doesn't blow them up. And then also the alien thing is there because the one guy decided to keep it as a pet.
I haven't watched that in so long, so I go watch it again.
Penback is like, my name is not even Penback. The underwear don't fit me.
Oh man,
I just laugh thinking about it. It's a fucking hilarious movie.
It is.
Oh gosh. But thank you, Gotta Swim in Pilgrim Media, for that, getting us on that topic. Now, with that being said, Hollywood definitely hasn't learned anything from Mr. Corman. Let's start with this fucking bit of news, because this makes me fucking laugh. And Andre hasn't even seen this yet, so I can't wait to hear his response to this, because I can tell you right now, Andrea will probably say, I have maintained since day one that this show will be called Agatha All Along. And it has been called Agatha All Along. All Along. As here's their new advertising thing. It's Agatha All Along, kids.
It's the
That
sound of the
is
meme
the-
going whoosh over. your
Wow,
head
I did not
again.
need that to premiere on my birthday, even if I'm not watching it.
Well, now we know when Nick's birthday is.
I
Yeah.
don't need that shit to premiere on there.
Excuse
All right,
me,
guys,
the
we're gonna do
bum-
something better. We're gonna
Excuse me.
party and not watch this. That's what we're gonna do. I said I was gonna not do anything on YouTube on my birthday, but because this show's happening, now I feel like I have to counter this with a party. Screw it. We're gonna do it days.
Point of privilege for Mike. What?
Point of privilege, point of minority privilege for the Mexican delegation. Point of privilege. I have no idea what we're talking about right now. What is an Agatha?
It was the witch that was in the WandaVision show that you probably didn't watch.
No, I didn't see that.
And that's it.
She's a based on a Marvel character, but nothing like the one from the comic.
Point of privilege again.
Yeah.
Is this show made for white people?
Yes.
I'd say no.
White suburban housewives who like
Yeah, okay.
gays.
Not white males though.
No.
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 And
But
honestly,
we don't mind. in this
I
case.
wish it was Agatha Christie all along, because Lord knows I don't want
That's what I
this shit.
thought you guys were talking about.
No, I wish it was Agatha Christie. This shit's gonna be gay.
He's so fucking gay.
Oh my god. Jesus.
That's what I thought we were talking about. That's what I thought.
I wish.
Jesus.
I feel like
I'm
they
actually
want-
an Agatha
dirty,
Christie
knowing
fan.
that-
yeah.
They're trying to
feel
make it
dirty
seem
knowing
like they had this
not up
name
to
in
date.
mind the whole time, but I don't think they did. I think they really
No.
didn't know what to call it.
That's the question I want to ask you guys, and you kind of answered that already for your take on this price. But yeah, I was like, because that'd be the big question. Did they actually plan this way? Was this them trying to do some kind of clever marketing scheme that just didn't work out?
I don't think so.
No.
Or
I think it's a cover up. It's a cover up to make
think
it
it's a-
look like they
yeah.
were. Because think about it, this show's originally supposed
No.
to come out quite a few times by now. If that was the case, they probably would have accidentally like made
Right.
it a thing then during the 300 other release dates. They just thought, okay, we've gone through so many names, we might as well just lean into why.
Nick,
He
that's the
became
best.
the-
That's the best explanation I've heard yet. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think this is another example of Disney thinking that people are laughing along with them at the
Mhm.
constant changing of the show name,
Ah,
when really we've been
ah.
laughing at them, but they
That's
don't
true. That's a good
haven't
point.
really gotten
Good
that
point.
memo
Kind
yet.
of like
So
Morbius.
funny.
Yeah.
I have an idea
Ah.
for I have an idea for why it ended up the way it did. Basically, they kept changing it and they didn't know what to call it. And at some point, it's been so long since that WandaVision show that probably somebody said nobody even knows or remembers who this character is. So the only thing they could do is, if you remember, if you happen to have watched the original WandaVision show, they had that thing. Oh, it's Agatha all along. It was Agatha all along. It's something that's it's somewhat memorable. It's not that it's really on the top of my mind and I don't really care about it, but at least I remember that from the show, and maybe they're expecting that a few people will remember it, so they're just going with the only thing that maybe a few people remember. That's my theory.
There you
I
go.
mean, it's the only thing I remember from the show very well too, but it's not the thing that makes me want to watch the
No,
show.
you won't. It's just a matter of if they don't do this, you don't even know. It's like Mikey showed up. He's like, who? What? Who's Agatha? What is that? And I think most people, whether they watch that WandaVision or didn't, nobody even knows. They're counting that on a few people to remember that there was that Agatha All Along song.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, fuck that show.
Nobody's
In
gonna
other
watch-
news,
nobody's gonna watch it.
No.
we are getting a Legally Blonde prequel.
What? Well, why
And
not?
I've never even seen the original Legally Blonde.
Me either.
But I know it's
I've
pretty
seen it.
popular. Yeah, I was gonna say I know it's pretty popular. It's a prequel series called L.
Mhm.
And I believe it's ABC that's going to be getting this. Here, let me bring up the story here.
It's completely
even
unnecessary.
Are you even allowed
Legally
to have
Blonde
blondes on
fans
screen
did not
anymore?
ask for that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Jesus Christ. Why?
Oh, look at this. Somebody's winning by a long shot. Holy shit.
Hmm?
Anyway, Legally Blonde prequel series L announced. Reese Witherspoon will serve as executive producer for the series. Prequel series about Elwood's life is coming. Elwood.
I have a
Prime
question.
Video
Is
announced-
Elwood going to be black or white?
That's a good question, and that's a valid
Hmm.
one now.
A blonde, but mine doesn't necessarily
Prime
mean
Video
white.
announced during its upfront presentation Tuesday that it has. Oh, okay, so this is for Paramount Prime. Yeah, whatever. Or Prime, I mean. Ugh. Couldn't talk. Anyway, it's ordered Legally Blonde prequel titled Ellie. From the media company Hello Sunshine, which Reese Witherspoon owns. According to the streamer, the series follows Woods during her high school years as we learn about the life experience that shaped her into the iconic young woman we came to know and love in the first Legally Blonde film.
This is another situation of trying to milk something that they always wanted to make this into a franchise, and I think that at best it was one movie. The original Legally Blonde movie, I mean, as a reviewer, I'm saying it does what it's supposed to do. She has Reese Witherspoon at that time, very charming, kind of. Even if you don't, it seems like it would be a movie that would be targeted more for women, but actually, as kind of a comedy or whatever it is, it's very watchable and actually rather enjoyable. That first movie,
I got to imagine it's a lot like My Cousin Vinny with a dumb blonde, basically.
It's got Reese Witherspoon in it. I don't want to hear a bad word out of Price's mouth about that.
No, not only do I like Reese Witherspoon, I like her especially in the era where like that movie was made. I think that
break
she was
Mike's heart. I don't like her.
Well, one of my favorite movies from her is Election with Matthew Broderick.
I actually hate that movie most of all.
I have mixed feelings about that one, but she is a good. I like Pleasantville, and she's in that. Pleasantville is a good
That's
movie.
a great
One of the only movies I like her in.
Tom, I don't think you got the message. The message is she's awesome in everything she does, buddy.
I'm okay with that. All I'm saying is that Legally Blonde was a very acceptable, serviceable, and even kind of amusing, like you said, a blonde lawyer, whatever. It does whatever it's supposed to do. The second they already made a sequel a few years later, you could see that the sequel they already didn't know what to do with. Even that sequel was unnecessary. Doing a prequel after all these years and more sequels, I think it's unnecessary. And I can't imagine that it's going to do. Maybe it'll do well because some ladies will go watch it, but I don't think it's going to be very good. Either of those things.
I'm about to test my love for Tom. Tom, you ready? Tom?
Go for it.
I'm listening.
Do you like the movie Sweet Home Alabama?
Never saw it.
What?
Is that the
Reese
one with
Witherspoon's the star?
Josh Lucas is her Mikey, is that the one where Josh Lucas is her former fiance or something?
It's Oscar worthy.
I'm embarrassed that I've seen it, but yes, I've seen the movie. She goes home.
Okay, at least Price of Reason likes it. Good job.
She got in touch with her southern roots.
Look, Mikey, I know you like a lot of this stuff just to get laid, and that's okay.
Hey, don't you sell me out on this live show.
I'm
Not
embarrassed.
selling you out. I'm giving you proud. Like, that's cool. I'm giving you an out.
It's a chick flick.
I'm giving you an out.
Wait, how is it a chick flick if I like it?
It's a chick flick. That's what
you
it
don't
is.
really like it. That's the point.
I love
Mikey,
it.
I actually saw a Reese Witherspoon movie that you probably didn't see, and it's really embarrassing. I saw that one where she's an angel, or she died with Mark Ruffalo, and she comes
Now
back.
that one I've seen. That was a horrible fucking movie.
That one sucked. Okay.
Yes, it wasn't a very good movie. I don't know why I watched it. I think
Did you see the Legally Blonde follow-up movie?
I did see it. It wasn't very good. The thing that she takes her dog to Washington and tries to pass a bill in the Senate or something.
Okay, that is the cutest dog ever.
And this was my response to this. I'm sure that this whole thing will work out just fine. Like Dumb and Dumberer did.
I hate to say this, but I don't think this movie's going to do well, though.
It's a TV show, and no, it's going to have somebody who is trying to be Reese Witherspoon, not being Reese Witherspoon. The most you get might be her narrating.
Maybe this is where she goes through her identity and changes her pronouns. Maybe she starts off as a guy and becomes a girl in the prequel.
Yes, that's going to be it.
What? Mom, that's going to happen.
It doesn't
surprise me.
sound out of the realm of possibility nowadays.
I know she starts off as a guy in the prequel, and then she wants to join the track team, and that's when she decides she's got to change her gender.
Once upon a time, those would be really funny jokes.
Well, here's the problem,
So
Six.
far off.
I don't remember Empire Strikes Back being a prequel to Star Wars, though.
No.
I mean,
That's
I
the
can
difference.
I can see how there would
Because
be
it's
good stories
not.
to tell in the setting. It's just whether or not they'd be actually allowed to
In
write
what
those
world?
stories.
Okay, I'll give you another one. Ace Ventura Jr. What other one you want? Where they take some
did a
young
junior?
actor and
Did they do that?
Yeah, I think it was his kid. But either way, like
Oh my God.
what prequel show does ever work besides Star Wars, where they cast somebody else as a younger version? It never has. I'm trying to think. Godfather 2.
Was
Yeah, that's it.
phenomenal.
Is Dumb and Dumber? No, it's a prequel.
There was a sequel
It
also,
was.
but there wasn't. But there was
Dumber
a
Earl
Dumb and
was a
Dumber
prequel.
2 is the
Yeah.
sequel.
Was the
And I
sequel.
drop Dumb and
Yes.
Dumber whenever anybody tries to bitch about Dumb and Dumber 2. I'm like, it could have been worse.
wasn't
You guys
Dumb and
forgot
Dumber
about
Earth.
this.
Was it Dumber Earth the
either.
sequel?
I say that as a
No,
fan
Dumber
of the
is the
original
prequel.
movie.
Dumber
Yeah.
2 is the sequel. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
And wait, Dumber, who stars in that?
that's the
Those
prequel.
idiots that nobody's ever
Oh,
heard
no.
of.
Ah, okay.
The one guy ended up being in like the Dukes of Hazzard sequel that
The
didn't have the
origin.
original actors in it too. Yeah.
Yeah, the origin.
And I think he was in that here's
Rings of
another-
Power.
Rings. You're not wrong there. You're not wrong. And it actually segues into, and I didn't even fucking really get into that trailer. I got about some of it, and I'm just like, I lost interest in the fucking trailer at this point with Rings of Power. Like, so that's the second thing that we got today was the Rings of Power business.
Yeah,
I have a
Yondu was cool.
I don't think that one's gonna be very good.
You sure about that, Mike? You want to put money on that?
Rings of Power?
I know I'm being facetious.
Oh,
They're joking, I should say. But yeah, no, nobody has, like, this thing's getting thumbs down to oblivion. Have they left the comments on still? I haven't even checked.
Last time I checked, they're worth reading.
Yeah, because somebody was like, I can't believe they haven't shut the comments off yet. Well, and really, I don't even really want to get into that so much because we all know everybody's reaction to that thing. It looks dumb as hell. Nothing they do is going to save this, right? And the other thing that come across my thing, I'm just like, what the fuck?
I guess
Roadhouse
that's
2?
Oh,
We tried that 2 already once before.
man. Nobody. Why are they making another one? I guess Amazon thinks a few people saw this thing. I think it was awful. I can't imagine why they would make another one.
I don't even want to. Even if I somehow was in the 80s,
I watched it too.
I
It was
would not
horrible.
want a sequel to the Swayze movie, which I loved, of course.
Well,
Once
I hate to
again.
break your heart. There was a sequel to the Swayze movie.
Doesn't exist.
Yeah, there
I
was.
pretend it doesn't exist.
Okay,
Who
gotcha.
was in it though? Swayze wasn't in it.
No, it
It was his son, and it was
Did he? Well, the character was his son, or you mean?
yeah, the character is his son in the sequel.
Okay.
The original, it was a straight to video thing, so they didn't even pretend it was.
Yeah,
like
no,
a real
I don't.
thing.
To me, straight to videos don't count.
Yeah, here I'll play the clip.
Jeez.
Hang on, god damn it, my shit's all fucked up here now.
Road to roadhouse.
Okay, no, I can actually get this to play right because it's on some weird screen for some reason.
Electric Boogaloo, indeed.
Yeah, Roadhouse 2 Electric Boogaloo.
New York drug agent Shane Tanner's in the business of fighting back. But when family business becomes deadly, his only job is revenge.
Oh my god.
How many more people are going to die because you want to do the right thing?
Jake Buse is in it. I forgot.
What's all that have to do with being a bouncer at a roadhouse?
Nothing.
Jake Busey and Will Packard kick action into high gear in Roadhouse 2.
Electric.
It's total electric boogaloo.
Wow.
I'd almost rather watch that.
Than Rings
Sadly,
of Power.
I rather have there be that than a sequel to the Amazon. That's
What's
not
sad-
Roadhouse.
I think is that I think it actually came out in the 2000s. Like 2000.
It probably is
Yeah,
better
five or
than
six.
the Amazon.
Yeah, I was
movie.
gonna say it came out when I worked in the video store because I just remember looking at it going, why? Why? Just fucking why?
That's so stupid.
I never
Cash in.
watched the damn thing.
Oh, some people did. Hey, they got a sequel to Roadhouse. Got to see that. Patrick Swayze's in it. No, we ain't.
When did he die? Was it 2009?
Yeah, I think somewhere over there.
I was gonna say I didn't think. I'm trying to remember how long ago it was. Because he did do that crappy cameo in the Dirty Dancing sequel. I remember that.
Yes.
Hmm.
The Cuba Havana Nights or something. What was it?
Yeah, Dirty Dancing Havana Nights, I think is what it was. Yeah.
I guess Six saying it was 2006 that he passed. I mean, this movie came out. Sorry, it was 2009.
That's when it was 2006.
This movie
I think
came out in 2006.
it was at least 2009 or so, I think, before he passed. Because
I've never seen the Havana Nights one. How do they explain that Patrick Swayze is even in that one?
I don't know. I didn't even watch it. Why? Like, why in the world? Dirty Dancing is better than it has any fucking right to be. So, like,
mainly because of him, by the way.
Yeah, you're not
I think
wrong.
Patrick Swayze was actually that kind of actor that you throw in a movie and he immediately makes it better. And
You're not wrong.
He did that on a number of occasions, and I think he was kind of underrated in that sense. Dirty Dancing is watchable because of him. It's a dumb movie.
He's a very underrated actor.
Very underrated.
Is he special? No, but he's got that Southern God, gee golly gosh, guy next door charm about him.
It is
you
charming.
Really
though.
see it bleeding through in Roadhouse.
You ain't seen bad. You ain't seen bad yet, but it's coming. What about Next of Kin? Does that have a sequel? And Ghost? No, not yet.
Ghost. Well, they almost did a sequel to Ghost, but at least that
Prequel?
was logical because it wasn't going to be with Patrick Swayze though.
Different.
It was
Ghost.
going to be Whoopi Goldberg as the returning character,
Right.
which made sense, right? So
Nobody would watch it though.
Yeah, well, they should have done it back when they first thought about it. Now every year that went past, it was like too late. Now nobody even really remembers Ghost all that much and how big of a movie that fucking was that it came out. I think it was the biggest movie of 1990, if I remember right.
It was a very big movie, and it was another one of those kind of. He was like the sleeper king. That's what they used to say about Patrick Swayze. But you know what? Point Break, I think he did show that he had range. Point Break is a different type of role for him, and I think he was really good in it.
Well, and that was kind of one of his breakout. Between that and Roadhouse were like his big breakout roles, and then Ghost put him on A-list level. And then he did some stinkers, and he did some good ones that got kind of overlooked. But yeah,
I think he got more overlooked than he should have. He had, like you've said, he had this kind of natural charm, better than a lot of actors that I see today. You're right. Maybe if you wanted Shakespeare in the Park, he wasn't your guy.
No,
but I mean, if you wanted this kind of guy that's kind of likable, you immediately see him, you like him. He could do action. He had he was able to do some humor and action.
Was great. Yeah, he was great in that. No, but I mean, and nobody else was going to be able to make Roadhouse work. Like, can you picture Roadhouse with like Sly?
No, nobody else.
Or
he had
anybody
this
like that. No,
charm about him that he could pull it off.
That's why it works. Otherwise, it's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous fucking movie.
Right.
But okay, so the whole reason. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was saying that in my review that I did, I was saying exactly these things. That's why there was no point to remake it. That Jake Gyllenhaal just looks like weird and quirky, and he doesn't even have that kind of vibe. And they didn't even bring a guy like Sam Elliott to play off of. So when you have Patrick Swayze kind of doing his charm along with Sam Elliott, who has his own kind of vibe, that's what makes Roadhouse fun.
Not only that, that's guaranteed to make the women's uteruses explode.
That too. But
I mean, that's just a guarantee. All ages, just boom.
But
yeah,
this new movie.
Like, oh, I like that Sam Elliott. You know, he's got a sexy voice.
And in the new Roadhouse, the one for Amazon, he doesn't even come and take control of the bar. He kind of just sits there and waits for fights to happen. And they took away the Sam Elliott character and they sort of converted him into a little girl who likes to read books and gives him advice or something. It's really bad. I can't imagine why they're making another one, but I guess their numbers are that some people watched it, so they're just like, fine, we'll do more of them.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Cray
what can you
cray.
do?
Six is probably right. I probably don't know much about the female anatomy, but I'm not a trans man or a doctor, so,
So those things don't explode. Is what you're saying?
maybe I don't know.
Okay. Just checking.
Well, let's just say like this to me is what I wanted to really talk about. Like, excuse me, Hollywood never fucking learns. I know that's obvious, and we say it all the time, but I really am starting to feel like, are they really not paying attention to how bad things have gotten? Are they in that much denial? Is it cognitive dissonance? What is going on here?
They're
Right?
committed,
All the
man.
above.
They're
Yes, sir,
committed.
you're right.
They are not
Mhm.
they are not capable of admitting wrong to what they do because of how attached they are to what they are trying to do with all these IPs, whether it's the endless reboots, sequels, prequel, rebootquels, the message. They're committed to all this, and for them
Yep.
to back off now, it's for them to say that they got it wrong. No pun intended. All along.
Well, here's just a list. Okay. And now I can't say for sure these things will actually happen. They have been announced. Clue, G.I. Joe, McClane, which would be a Die Hard prequel, Sherlock Holmes 3 with Robert Downey Jr.,
Mhm.
another Live, Die, Repeat movie with Tom Cruise, Passion of the Christ, Resurrection, another Star Trek movie, a new Friday the 13th movie, Den of Thieves 2. I don't even know what the fuck the first Den of Thieves was. Maniac Cop remake, Rush Hour 4, Masters of the Universe, a Rise of the Living Dead, I guess. I don't even know what the fuck that is. Highlander, $6 billion Man, Legally Blonde 3 on top of the series. I remember that they already announced as well. We've got, of course, Avatar to no end. That stupid Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem sequel. And I'm skipping shit. Gladiator 2. Supposedly they announced a remake of the Wild Bunch. I don't know who fucking thought that was a good idea.
Oh my God. What?
Another Thomas Crown affair. So that'll be the third time out on that one.
Yeah.
A remake of the somebody needs to be shot. A remake of the Cannonball Run.
What?
Are you fucking insane?
That story cannot work in modern times.
No. The cliffhanger sequel that we've been.
Why won't it work in modern times?
The
Oh,
fucking
you know
original one
why.
was barely believable.
Cell phones and things like that, and just, I don't know. And because it'll suck.
And it's not the same. It's just that wasn't of its era, of its time.
Racist.
True.
Shush.
But what if they're race? They will be racing. That's true. So they will be racist.
Meg 3. Meg 3.
That was a good one.
Let's see what else here. Blade, of course, we already knew about that.
Oh my God, that's true.
This list goes on and on. We know we're getting another Joker this year already. We just got the first Omen. Got another Alien movie coming up. We just got off a weekend where we had another Planet of the Apes sequel. Again, I could just go on and on. The list just goes on and on. And these are like the lesser known ones. Like Andre did a video here about 2-3 weeks ago that had some other ones that were, like more well known. It's getting old. Furiosa coming up, exactly. Which is funny because I hear she has a whole of 30 fucking lines in the whole movie.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you could pull off a less is more type of character, but in current year, that's with a girl.
They should have
boss,
done a
that
less
is
is less.
I won't believe.
The last movie was trash, so why not this one?
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm with you on that one.
That movie doesn't exist.
Hated
either.
that. I hated that movie. Everyone loved it so much.
So I guess what I was getting at is even if we get out of this woke anytime soon, clearly Hollywood is just going right back to their old ways.
Yep.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
They ain't gonna let it go, man. They are not gonna let this go. I mean, there's a sky high level of arrogance, and it's happening pretty much in almost everything. Whether it's board games, video games, movies, like all these industries, they're all doing the same crap, and none of them want to step back and they're all continuing to pay the price for it. I mean, yeah, I guess their ideology will die with them. This is what happens when.
And
you
I
let
guess
that
it's
stuff
fair that Mad
continue.
Max didn't have as many lines as you see a lot of people point out, but I don't give a shit. Fury Road was stupid. Doing a prequel called Furiosa is stupid. Setting up this idea that there's a Mad Max prequel in there is stupid because we already have it. It's called Mad Max.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
How much? What are we gonna do? See him playing marbles as a child? I mean, what is left?
You're giving them ideas, man. I mean, we did just say that there was going to be a Legally Blonde prequel a few minutes ago.
You know,
So,
I get it. People love the visuals, but it makes no fucking sense. And Mad Max is sidelined in his own fucking movie. It is proto woke. I've been saying this since 2015.
It was.
They turn around halfway into the movie and just
Terrible.
go back the way they came.
Well, not only that, here's my other thing.
He's a
Let's
hood
take
ornament.
Let's take the woke shit off the table. The fact that he's literally sidelined in his own movie. They have these trucks rolling around that are burning fuel like Bigfoot trucks. Okay. In the last movie, they were just using pig shit as fuel because they pretty much run out of fuel at this point. And I agree. It's just, it looks awesome and amazing, but it makes no fucking sense.
And by the end, we found out how wrong she was. She took him to nowhere. And he was a hood ornament for he was a hood ornament for 40 minutes.
You spent half the movie going out to this place, and then it's like, well, we better turn around and go back to where we started
it was so
from.
Bad. This movie sucks. And Max is a wussweed in that movie. It's awful.
Yeah.
I agree. Fury Road is overrated. Although I haven't been saying what you said, and you kind of brought it to my attention. From the moment I saw it, I've never been excited about that movie.
God, everyone was going
It
nuts
makes
over it
no
back then when it came out.
sense.
People were going like you were insane if you didn't like it. This movie is just trash.
And I went into it with the idea of like, okay, you have to prove to me why Mel Gibson can't play Mad Max, which they failed miserably.
Yes. Well, although we knew why. We knew why.
Yeah, we knew why. But let's be real. What do we want to see? We want to see old man grizzled Mad Max. That's what we wanted to fucking see.
It's perfect for him right now too. He's aged for that.
This wasn't about.
How do you know? How do you know that he's still old man Mad Max? Maybe he's rediscovered his identity and he's Maxine.
Don't give him ideas, damn it!
That was what I called it. I've always called that movie Mad Maxine because that's what it is.
I feel like like Mel Gibson just playing himself would be fine right now. He wouldn't.
There's real opportunity for cross-platform sponsorship and product placement. I mean, we could get MaxiPad in on this thing on the national ad campaign.
Well, that's. I mean, I was calling it Mad MaxiPad. Clobby was calling it Mad Maxine, but yeah.
It was totally it was horse crap because there was this, before the movie came out, what's his face? Was it Miller or whoever it was talking about how he hired some woman because she wrote the vagina monologues or whatever, plays or whatever. And it was bragging about how a feminist the movie was going to be and stuff. Well, he proved it, but it was terrible.
I don't think you guys are seeing my creative vision.
Mikey, I'd rather see you make a Mad Max movie.
I would too.
Nelson Sharita points out that Point Break is his favorite Swayze film. It's just fun. Yeah, I can see that. Jeremy Winfield sends in $2 and says, how you feel about Noir show with Nicolas Cage?
Yeah. It's got Nick Cage in it. How can it not be good?
Nick, fucking. Whoa, Cage!
Who did that?
I'm bringing in the noir.
Wow.
I'm gonna spin a web.
Okay.
Catch us, please, just like flies. Look out!
Okay.
Here comes the spider cage. Yeah, that was some welcome news. I didn't really care for the Spider-Verse stuff, but Nicolas Cage playing Spider-Man, I can take that. Then we got Dean Krantz sending in $20. Holy crap! Holy, thank you, Dean. It's his point of order, Tom. People watched Roadhouse because Conor McGregor was in it. but his character was killed. So the chances of more UFC fans watching it are very low.
They'll
And
get a
his
different
character was
UFC.
You know, another UFC
fucking
fighter.
horrible in that movie.
Worst acting ever. Worst acting
Like,
ever.
I don't even think he realized he was in a movie.
It was really kind of I don't know if to say embarrassing or cringe or both.
Just weird.
Weird, yeah. It didn't feel like he you're right. It didn't seem like he understood he was in a movie. He was just doing weird things and they filmed him.
Yeah, it's like they had one shot. He comes in the room, they get the take, and he leaves. I'm like,
That probably is true, though. A lot of his fans watched it because it was in it.
you're not wrong, and that's possibly why it's getting a sequel. And that's really what it was kind of a commercial for the UFC, and the UFC was a commercial for this movie. So yeah, it was just kind of
Maybe they'll bring other UFC fighters and they'll just hope that people
Probably.
will watch that.
probably.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's one of the problems I had with the movie is it doesn't even stick with the original storyline or anything. And the stupid shit that it changes is so obvious. And then the third act goes completely off the rails.
Totally.
And it just completely misses the point, I think, of the original film in a lot of ways. So
Yes.
which is
the
sad
ori-
because it could have almost been its own thing and been decent enough. But yeah, sorry, go ahead, Price.
No, I'm saying the original film itself was barely hanging on by a thread. It was like you were saying before, and I also was agreeing. Likable cast, a fun atmosphere and vibe to the movie, but none of those things existed in this remake, and it just felt very hollow. Like they were just
Well,
doing
the
it for
original
sake of
film was
doing
very
it.
self-aware. That's the other thing. This film was not.
Right.
Like that
True.
movie's very self-aware of what it is. I mean, there's at no point where it pretends to be more
Right.
than it is. Especially when you
Right.
got the scene where Swayze's all like "Ah," in slow motion pulling the dude's fucking throat out and shit. Like this, that's the point where you go, yeah, this movie knows exactly what it fucking is. This movie exists, so in 10 years from now, they will have a thing on TBS called Guys Who Like Movies.
Later to be called Toxic Tuesdays.
And you think I'm joking, but honestly, I'm not, because that Roadhouse used to be a movie that they would show that would give you a bump in ratings like you wouldn't believe, because guys would know when Roadhouse was on, they'd fucking watch it.
Well, yeah,
It's just
dude.
one of those movies.
You're preaching to me, the choir. I hear.
It's like an Al
Roadhouse,
Bundy
it's
movie,
like,
you know what I
what?
mean? Like he's not gonna miss it, right?
Right.
It's like Hondo.
Hondo pig. Hondo's on pig.
Yeah.
What does
Sing
not
forever.
skip the Roadhouse? Not
Uh,
you just, yeah, as soon it don't matter what it's on, where it's at.
Soon to be replaced with gays who like movies.
Ah!
True.
Oh, that's funny and sad. at the same
It was the
time.
saddest gimmick TBS ever came up with, but it fucking worked. It was almost as bad as
worked.
dinner in a movie. That was so
Oh, I remember
stupid too.
that. I heard that one.
I like dinner in a movie.
It was fun, but it was like, really? This is what we're doing now?
I liked it.
At least Guys Who Like Movies or Guys Who Love Movies or whatever the hell it was called made sense, because, you know, it was a bunch of,
Oh yeah.
you know, like Patrick Swayze and Charles Bronson and stuff type movies and stuff, canon type films, you know.
Well,
Stuff the
saw
guys
that.
dug.
I tuned into that channel. I saw that commercial. I saw it on the listings. In fact, I was turning the TV to that channel. It worked. And it never
Roadhouse.
failed me. Yeah.
Roadhouse and Jaws, I think, were on like constant rotation on Guys Who Like Movies.
As
You
it
could almost
should be.
set your watch to it. Jaws was going to be on at some point for a while there. I didn't complain. It's like I knew Jaws was going to be on. It's nothing to watch. Okay, we'll watch Jaws. Mecca J says, after being here for 7 months, thank you for using your member chat. Says I recommend checking out this Mad Max film called Hope and Glory. It's pretty good and has no Furiosa. And Furiosa wouldn't even have been a bad character if they just hadn't sidelined Max for her. And she's not that compelling. Like, I still don't even understand why she needs a prequel.
He does it, but they
Yeah,
need,
why does she even
they need-
exist, to
they-
be honest?
They need more girl
Yeah.
bosses, so they gotta keep it going.
Because 2024, that's why.
We don't need another hero.
All you need is
We don't need another girl
you sing it.
boss.
Go ahead, Tina Turner.
We don't need another hero. We don't need another way home.
Can I just tell you that
I think Tom's white.
Tom, I want to tell you that I
can't do Tina.
Tom, I fucking hated that song when it came out.
It's all or nothing.
It is kind of annoying, to be honest.
Yeah,
I don't hate it, but it's not a song I play very often. It's not a song I play very often on Midnight's Edge After Dark Radio because I know that it's not the most beloved song. I actually like that movie more than I know. I don't have a high range anyway. That's my problem.
You don't need one with that song.
To be honest, nobody could sing Tina Turner like Tina Turner.
What?
This generation.
What's love got to do?
Is it all or nothing? That's the best I can do.
It's really hard to sing like Tina Turner. It's one of those voices that's very hard to emulate.
It is.
Even as an imitation, it's really difficult to do it.
It's because she left a good job in the city.
And they played it over and over and over and over. It was like every 15 minutes it was on again.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. Alpha 11 Scott. L11 Alpha.
Just be glad it wasn't the album version when they would play it on the radio. The album version's like 6 minutes long.
What?
Really?
I shit you not. Yeah. Hey, Michelle, how you doing?
Hey.
But yeah, so that's one that you guys got to watch over there is the Mad Max movies. But so yeah, I just don't think Hollywood's learning anything.
Oh my God.
I was kind of hoping Script would be here for this conversation too, because I'm sure he'd have a few things to say about it. But
hey, the less we talk about Tina Turner songs, the better. Matthew Marcella in the chat's breaking my heart. He's another freaking fan of this crap.
Let's move on to something else here. Because this actually puts Hollywood in a bit of a bad light as usual. And this is something I've been following for a while. Now we got Kevin Costner's side of the story. For you Yellowstone fans.
You got my ears perked up for this one.
Okay, so Kevin Costner talked to Deadline, it looks like.
He's like, hey, I got sick and tired of dealing with the guy that showed my wife was a whore and a slut.
Well, and actually, this is kind of the spread out version. I had a version of it here that actually had the best quotes.
Why should I do work with the director who's banging my wife? Is that what it says?
No, I don't even know if that was the case, really, but there was a lot of rumors flying.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think he did that though for some reason.
Yeah, let me see if I can just find the original
story. That on this show like 2 years ago.
Or not the original story, but that is the original story. There was rumors going around, but he did get a divorce.
Because his wife was a cheating hoe.
That could very well be, but I don't think it had anything to do with Taylor. Because he does talk about Taylor in this interview here. I'm just looking for a version that isn't like just the long ass answers. I just want the good shit.
I mean, I don't know if he's telling the truth or not, but if he is, he is giving a somewhat reasonable take. I could understand something from his perspective if they kept changing the dates and he has obligations and stuff that he's paying for out of his pocket. I could kind of understand that, although who knows who's telling the truth. But if there's anything true about what Costner is saying, I think that at least I can understand part of what.
Well, and I can add a little bit to this from my, at the time what I was hearing from my point of view, and some of that I'll just be reiterating from that point. And that was that there was Taylor Sheridan was being stretched quite thin. And as we've seen, he's had how many shows that have come up in the wake of Yellowstone.
47.
And there's more to that as we'll get going here. So basically, Kevin Costner said, I've taken a beating from those fucking guys. And I know a lot of times where it's coming from. I just elected not to get into that. But if you know me well enough, I made Yellowstone the first priority. To insinuate anything else would be wrong. I did not initiate any of those things. They did. So what he's responding to there is a lot of things like we were saying was like, why would you even do this considering this show puts you back on the map, stuff like that. But now there was things in this interview that I didn't even know about. So he goes on here. Let me see if I can find the next bit of the interview.
What did I miss?
Yeah, what are the things he's talking about?
Okay, so first of all, I don't know if it says it in here, but he was, I didn't know this until recently. He was actually only contracted to be in one season. And he stayed on through season 3. And then they reworked his contract, and he might get into that here. He does in the original interview. I don't know how much, this is not the one I wanted to grab, but that's why I'm kind of discombobulated here. I couldn't find the one I had originally read.
But what would they have done with him with one season? I mean, he would have died at the end of the season. Was that the idea?
That was the original plan, I'd imagine. But they changed that once he probably fell in love with the show. And yeah, so anyway, meanwhile, Costner had been filming his epic contract while they were dicking around with season 5. Because what happened here was he had signed on for another 3 seasons. They asked him to. So he was signed on through season 7. And then they brought him back in to renegotiate that because for some reason out of nowhere, he claims, they wanted to do season 5A and season 5B. And his assumption or his assertion, yeah, is that, and of course, he doesn't mention that obviously this was during the time period of COVID as well, which it is important to point that out. His assertion, though, was that they didn't have a script ready. And it wasn't Sheridan's fault. It was the fault that they had stretched him too thin. That's what he had said.
That is kind of believable. If when you do a 5, an A and a B season, it's to get more episodes, and if you're during COVID, maybe you don't have everything finished. You need to add a couple episodes. I can see that plausible.
Yeah, this isn't a better write-up of it. I wish I had the one I had before, but I can't find it now for some reason when I looking. Because of course I read it on my phone. So, because this is a lot of older interviews and stuff like that. But in the newer interview, he was talking about this deal that they had, and that the deal he had made with them, and he was going to shoot Horizon around their schedule, but he said their schedule kept changing. So that's another reason why they hit an impasse. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, because I think Kevin's gearing up to go to court over this whole thing. Now, the other thing that I had heard about, or at least I'd speculated on and talked about at the time this was all going down, and this is maybe what, because the other thing that upset Kevin is he said they didn't stick up for me. That was the other part I was looking for. And I think I know the reason for that. And this goes back to what I was reporting before, and that kind of supports what Kevin's saying here. And that's where I was saying is Paramount has no reason to want to fight for this show right now, because if it gets canceled, then they can bring it over to Paramount Plus as a completely different show without Kevin Costner and just bring back all the other cast members. I don't know if you guys remember me saying that back then, but I think that's what he's insinuating by them not fighting for him.
Yeah, it's probably all true, but you know what? He was an important part of the show, and they needed to wrap that up. I think Paramount have gotten greedy, and they're not even paying attention to the fact that the first half of season 5 was really not very good. Even season 4 was kind of wobbly.
It was starting to get, yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
Suddenly they were all getting very sensitive, and there was something about it wasn't badass. I felt like the first 3 seasons, there was the feeling of these badass guys on that ranch. And then 4th, they were talking about their feelings a lot. And 5th, I really went off the rail.
With the whole stepdaddy shit.
Yeah, I don't know. He ran for governor. He's the governor. The thing. Something just wasn't working for me, especially in season 5, part 1.
Well,
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, you're right.
No, because you watched it too not too long ago off of me praising it so much.
I watched it because of you. I just watched it last summer, all of it. Like I did it.
But I agree with Price. That 4th season into the 5th season, it kind of fell.
Like I only watched it because Tom made me last. Well, he didn't make me. He just kept talking about it. I'm like, well, fuck. And I kept putting it up, and then I just deep dived last summer. Remember?
And it has this weird feeling to it. Like it's like, are they trying to stretch something out here? What's going on? It feels like they're.
They also, I don't know how to explain this because it's going to
Yeah.
sound weird. They became more Hollywood, meaning the first 3 seasons, I feel like this was a smaller show and they were just doing something that they thought was cool. It really focused on these kind of cool guys on a ranch doing whatever they're doing.
Let me put it to you this way. You're right, Price, because basically when you got Kevin Costner in that 5th season, I don't remember exactly how he says it, but he's basically in the scene saying like, what the fuck am I doing here? Because he's the senator or the congressman or whatever. Now I don't even remember. It's been so fucking
Right.
long. And I think he's actually meaning that. And I think the audience is thinking the same goddamn thing as him at that point. It's like, why are we here?
Right.
How did we get here? And the equivalent of this is, and this seems to happen in almost every single fucking show when they decide to go to prison. Have you ever noticed that in My Name is Earl, Weeds? I'm sure there's other examples you can come out there. Whenever they have the major character go to prison for a season and spend a season in prison, when they get out, after that, the show is shit.
Right.
And it feels like that's the same thing here. Like all of a sudden, them going to Congress or Senate or whatever fuck he is now, governor. That's what it is, governor. Sorry, I couldn't remember which fucking thing he was even in America. That's how long it's been since the 5th season, y'all. Like it's fucking that long. It was like early last year since the last time it's gone.
But
yeah.
I also feel like something, when you're doing a show that's kind of very niche and you don't know if people are even going to watch it, and it has its own kind of thing that it's doing, and you really feel you have this kind of creative vision. Once it exploded, I feel like then all these executives are calling Taylor Sheridan and saying, hey, we were talking to some advertisers or whoever it is that they want to talk to, and they're like, we want to go for a female demographic. Can you add a few more women working at the barn? Can you add a woman who grooms the horses? Do you get what I'm trying to say? Something about it. I won't say that it went like fully woke or anything, but
Well,
I'll
that
just
Piper
say,
Parabo character really brought that into the mix. Yeah.
yeah, something about it. They're like, can we expand the demographic here? Just not only dudes that like dudes on a ranch. Like, can we do something where it's kind of more for feminine? Or I know it sounds weird that I'm saying it, but if you look at season 1, 2, 3, and then you look at 4, I am 100% right in what I'm saying, and in 5 it gets
You're
even
not
worse.
Totally wrong. At first, it worked because it was because at first a lot of it was kind of a fuck you to the lefty woke crowd. Right, because it was Kevin showed her, what it was really all about, and she started to kind of understand things, and even had some fun character moments with her. But right, yeah, once he started going into the political stuff and it started getting more political, just the whole thing kind of went off the rails. But yeah, Plepius, if I'm saying it right. Trailer Park Boys had prison going to prison down. You know what I'm saying? Jesus Christ, I can't read or talk anymore. Yeah, and the only other show I can think of where that happened and it worked was Cobra Kai, but also you had a ton of other characters to follow besides Robbie. So that's why that worked. Like Earl and Weeds are my prime examples because those shows went to shit afterwards. And I don't even know why they sent Earl to prison. That made absolutely no fucking sense. It was like, you're just doing this to drag the show out. That's it. Because you've only got so many things he can fix, and how many episodes you got. And then they overshot their fucking wad because the show was popular. And then when they sent him to prison, everybody quit watching. So then, yeah. Then when they came back from that business, nobody cared anymore. The show got canceled, so it never got finished. Anyway, I know that's a long way of saying it, but it's true. And it's just, I think it's the same thing's going to happen here with Yellowstone, sadly. And we've gotten to a point where some of the spin-offs are almost better than Yellowstone anyway. Like I'm really liking the one with Helen Mirren and Harrison Ford.
Are you sure about that?
You know what, Nick? Harrison Ford is the most alive he's been in fucking years in that show.
I
you
agree.
can tell he's having a good time.
Are you telling me I should watch that one too now?
Yes.
That one is actually good.
I have heard
1883
that
is
it's good
pretty
in all
good, but
seriousness.
1923 is probably the best show so far. I mean, and Harrison Ford's great in it. Helen Mirren's amazing in it. The side stories are great too, like the whole plot. I'm not even going to get into it because I don't want to spoil nothing.
Yeah, that one is good. That show is good.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
1883 has some moments. Like to me, the reason I enjoyed 1883 is I'm watching this and I'm going, you know what this is? This is basically Oregon Trail, the show.
The only thing I'll
play
say
that
is,
game, yeah.
1883, I feel like it starts off great, and maybe the first 5-6 episodes are great. Then something happens I don't want to spoil, which like I kind of thought to myself, this feels like it's for a modern day audience.
There
You know
is,
what I'm
I know
saying?
what you're talking about, and
And
it
I'm
does kind
like,
of
Don't
deviate
spoil
a
it
bit.
for me.
I'm
For about
like, they
3 or
kind of
4
went modern
episodes,
audience here.
and then it kind of, in my opinion, it kind of sticks the landing. But you're not wrong, Price. Like, and that's probably
It somehow sticks the landing, but you know, I like it's a rare situation that I think the first half of that series, or I think it's a series, it's not, there's not going to be any more seasons. The first half I think is good. That's what I'll say.
I
yeah.
haven't
Prison
seen
Break.
that-
That's
I
the
haven't
other one I
seen
was
that.
trying to think of. Thank you guys. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead, Cece.
And I was saying I haven't seen that. I haven't seen 1883, or actually I haven't seen Yellowstone yet. I got to get on it. But I did start watching Wednesday last week. I'm a little late to that, but and I was really, really enjoying it until I realized this is one of the most painfully woke things I've ever seen. It's good, but it's so woke. And I got through the 5th episode. I just couldn't keep going after that.
Are you talking about 1883?
No, Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday. You know,
You
I
you
watched.
mentioned how 1883 has this moment, and I haven't seen it, but like for Wednesday,
No,
it was
it's not as bad as. I mean, I would think that Wednesday would probably be more agenda driven. I actually I found myself watching the whole Wednesday thing. I felt like I wasn't really the target audience for it, but I have to say that Jenna Ortega's Wednesday was good.
I'm enjoying it, right? But then the whole patriarchy thing was like it.
There
it's the
are
whole
there
plot
are
line,
yeah
you know?
yeah. There's some annoying things in there.
Wednesday was
thing that's-
awesome. I won't tolerate CC karaoke talking smack.
I want to see it, but my problem is I'm reluctant because I'm a huge Addams Family fan.
Well, then you're probably not gonna like
And
this.
and that's the thing. There's things about it I've heard that I might love, and there's things about it I'm not gonna like.
Okay, I know you, Tom.
I like her.
I think here's my prediction. If I watch it, I will like Jenna Ortega, and I won't like anything else.
She's fantastic in it. She is.
She's the best
And,
part
like,
of it. She's probably the best
it's
part of that show.
visually
Because
appealing,
Louise Guzman may look
you
like
know?
the cartoon
Oh,
version
dude,
of
he
Gomez,
was awful,
but
Tom. He was
that's not Gomez to
fucking
me
awful.
exactly.
Tom,
And
Tom,
Catherine
he was-
Zeta fucking Jones, what the
Tom, he
fuck?
was- Dude, she was awful too. A fucking atrociously awful.
Well, in what world did then that go? Okay, we should cast Christina Ricci, obviously, as Morticia, because it makes sense. It is the passing of a torch.
That's what
Okay.
they should have done. That's what
And let's see, Gomez. This is the one time I will let you say Oscar Isaac because I know you don't like him or somebody along those lines. Gomez should be Hispanic. I thought
Oscar
Raul
Isaac,
Julia
bro?
owned that fucking role. Well, Oscar Isaac's what, Egyptian or whatever he is, but still somebody who's a little
No,
more
I think
ethnic
Oscar
or
Isaac
darker.
is Latin.
He
I don't-
looks. Is he Latin? I thought so. Yeah, but
Yeah,
he
I
has
don't
the
think he's
he has the
Latin.
Gomez eyes. That's why I go for him. He's got those Gomez eyes, those shifty little Gomez. But he can play romantic at the same time, and that's my point. You need somebody who can be kooky but romantic. See, and Raul Julia nailed it perfectly, almost better than John Astin did. Although John Astin was the longest, running as Gomez, but to me, Raul Julia was like, okay, now that's Gomez, and that's somebody I could see Morticia falling in love with, even though he's an eternal child, right? You know what I mean? Like he played both elements so well. It was just he played it so sincere. Like John Astin's always doing it a little tongue in cheek. When Raul did it, it was sincere as fuck. You believed he was Gomez Adams, and he
You know,
believed
what-
everything he was saying.
What I got out of the show so far in the 5 episodes I watched is that it's not really the Addams Family. It's like they wanted to do a Harry Potter thing, and they just slapped
That's the other
Addams
thing I
Family
got
on
from it. Yeah.
And it's not an awful show. It's just, but it is really steeped in colonizer white people bad, and all the students at the school are the the marginalized community, and it just it gets a little heavy on that. Even though the show itself is actually pretty good.
Now, is the show the school she going to, is everybody special, or is she the only one who's kind of weird?
No, everybody's
Everybody.
special.
Okay, so
They're
that
all the
feels more like a
marginalized
Saturday morning
special
cartoon
people.
kind of thing. Yeah.
But not like 90s or 80s Saturday morning cartoons, like modern, like they are the community, And there's even this moment where Wednesday's roommate is talking to her parents, and it's like her mom wants to put her through conversion therapy, and I'm like, Wow, this is really on the nose.
Why would her? Wait, what?
Like to not be like a meta. I don't want to say
Well,
meta human, but conversion of not to
when
be
yeah
a
when
spooky weirdo kind of thing.
yeah when
Wait,
Wednesday's roommate
Morticia wants that, or who wants that?
No, somebody
well,
else
the
wants to put
school is
some
Oh,
full
other
okay.
of
shit, yeah.
like they use these like the werewolves. So they're a marginalized community because they're werewolves, right? So Wednesday's roommate is a werewolf, but she doesn't want to be a werewolf. She doesn't, she wants to be something else, and her mom wants to send her to a conversion therapy camp to become a
I
werewolf.
got an idea.
And
I gotta
it's
interrupt you. See,
I know
Tom,
exactly what we're talking
Tom,
about
go
here.
watch. Tom, go watch it and then come back.
All right.
I'm being dead serious. Go watch it. Come
All
back. We'll have
right.
ourselves a
Honestly,
talk.
it's not a bad show. It's just
We'll have ourselves a little girl
really it
talk.
lays it on pretty thick, and it's
right.
I don't
it's
like talking
tough,
about
you
shit
know?
with people that haven't seen shit. And
That's fair. That's fair. That's a
No,
good
we're
point.
not we're not doing this on this
That's
show.
a fair point.
Yeah, okay.
All right. So what else was there today that we had to discuss? You said there was some gaming news, but I know Price has to be leaving us soon.
Yeah, I have to dip out, but it's been great hanging out with everybody, and
Except Mike.
I'll see you guys soon.
See you
Take
later,
care of yourself,
Bryce.
Bye,
Price.
Bryce.
Take care, Bryce.
Bye.
So what's going on in the gaming world then, CC? I have no idea.
If
Do
you want to
tell.
get into that conversation,
Let's hear it,
it's
dude.
really it's related to selling to an audience, right? Like if you sell to a small audience, you're not
Mhm.
going to make a profit, right? So it's getting this whole thing about console exclusivity, right?
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Where we've had this thing for a number of years where it's like Sony says, like release your game just on the Sony PlayStation so that we can release, so we can sell the PlayStation because you have to have a PlayStation to have the game, right? To be able to play the game. But by doing that, you're selling to only PlayStation owners. And after, the world events with the pandemic, like there's not a whole lot of PlayStation 5 owners out there right now. Like, so
Still to this day.
It still
the
beat the
console
Xbox,
generation's
but yeah.
lost. But it's, it doesn't have a huge install base.
It's kind of been a bust. I see what you're saying.
It's not the Nintendo Switch. It's not,
No.
heck, you can buy, even today, you can buy a laptop or like a gaming laptop for
Pretty much,
about-
let me put it to you this way, from my understanding, Nick, the PS5 has kind of won this race just because it was the least worst of the bunch at this point. Like that's how bad
Wow.
this race was.
but
Simply
there's
the
still
lesser
not a
of
lot
two
of people who
evils.
own it.
Yeah, and for
So-
those who could actually find it, they come to, like myself, realize quite quickly it wasn't everything it was hyped up to be either.
No,
It's all right, but I mean, it's not like the next.
You're spending $700 on this
Yeah.
console. You could buy a computer for $700 at this point that can do the same thing, right? It might have been more powerful for the same price when it first released, but it first released during COVID, and so there's this long stretch where you couldn't even buy it at the stores because of the chip shortage. And now we're 3-4 years down the line, and it's like, if I want to spend $700, I'll just buy a computer for that much that can do the same thing as the PS5, right? And this isn't specific to Square Enix, right? Because they released a statement saying we're not doing console exclusive anymore. They had that recent release of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and it did terrible. I mean, it did great in reviews and general like fan approval of the game. It's very, very well received. But it did terrible in sales because it's only on the PS5, and there's not a whole lot of people who own the PS5.
No.
So
CC, you're hitting on something really interesting because when you actually think about it, you mentioned how you could just get PC for the same price. And from what I've talked to a lot of gamers on PC, they don't seem to have a lot of the problems that a lot of fans on the actual video game systems have. And I'm like, wow, maybe being a PC gamer might be the way for some, because it seems like PC gamers seem to have it a little bit better than the video gamers do. So you might as well pay for the PC and not to deal with all the BS that comes with the video game system.
There's a parallel to modern movies, like inflating budgets. Like movies are getting $200, $300, $400 million dollars. The same thing's happening in video games with these AAA like big budget video games, where the cost of production has just become enormous, which means you have to sell that many more copies to make a profit. And some of these smaller kind of mid-budget titles are getting lost in the mix, and companies have to figure that out, right? They have to figure out that there's good value in these more modest budget approaches. But I mean, I think one of the big selling points for consoles, maybe even 10, 15 years ago, was that if you couldn't afford a computer, then maybe you could afford a console, right? But console prices have been going up too. I mean, I know inflation has something to do with that, but consoles used to be affordable. Like you weren't going to spend $700-800 on one of these things, The whole point was that if you couldn't afford an expensive computer, you could get an affordable console to play video games. And now consoles are just really, really expensive. And if you can just buy a computer for the same price at the same power level, you can play games on the computer and you get a computer. It does all the computer things. And you can mod games on computers, and you can have more like actual impact over, changing the graphics settings to your liking. It's a lot more control, right? So what's the value of a console anymore necessarily? Like maybe it has a DVD player. They don't put DVD players in laptops anymore, but you could buy a DVD player. So, it's. I think that's happening, particularly lately. It's like consoles don't have that kind of economic value they used to have. But anyways, yeah, that's the gaming news. Square Enix announced that they're abandoning exclusives, and that was a huge deal for PS5 because they were a real driving exclusive company for them. And I think it's going that way, honestly, which is smart. Because it's like, why sell? I started on the Nintendo. I started with Final Fantasy 1. I'm a lifelong Final Fantasy fan. I don't want to spend $700-800 on a PS5 so I can play the next Final Fantasy game. Just release it on the PC,
Well, not only that, you can use the PC for other things, and that's kind of the thing I've ran into the PS5 too. Is I can't even figure out how to play video on there from like a USB or anything like that. Besides, like off of disc, which to me is a big bunch of horse shit because the PS3 and PS4 had no problems with that kind of stuff. But yeah, no, it's. I mean, you had to format them the right way, but still, it's just gotten to this point where, the PS3 was a huge jump from the PS2, which was a huge jump from the PS1. But I feel like the PS4 and the PS5 have grown very stagnant in their innovation. Yeah, so
all you're really doing right now is just kind of increasing the graphics power of the same. We're already in the HD, right?
And Mikey, I know you're a gamer too, so I don't know what your response to this is, but
I own every system, and I'm Mexican Iron Man and can afford every system, so I really don't give a shit. I can do whatever I want.
Well, yeah, but as somebody who has played every system, what's your feeling on it all, though?
I don't know. I mean, like, dude, there's some stuff I do on the PS5. I got an Xbox back there that I realized recently I haven't turned on. Fuck, I think in a year, maybe 2. And it's it's fully loaded. The last one they had left out. I got a badass gaming system right behind me that I'm looking at over my shoulder, which I love my Steam, which I use mostly for flight sim. I love my PS5, but I strictly have it downstairs as a certain games that I like, and it's connected to my 84-inch TV, and the sound and video is amazing. And that's how I like it, versus up here, I got the setup that has the flight sim, and I got my, my virtual thing connected. I got a pretty good rig up here, actually. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've always been this way. I always get all kinds of shit. My new thing is that I got to decide if I'm going to get a Switch or not.
All right, at this point,
Jerry's like, thanks for visiting us.
It's so weak that
I'm being an asshole.
There's a whole thing with emulation is a whole other story. But it's like, if you what, your modestly powerful PC can play the Switch better than the Switch can. So just wait for the Switch.
My
2.
modestly powered PC. My power. I got a badass.
Well, exactly.
Well, no, he
But you have
means
a
he's just
great- you have a
saying
great
that
PC, but, like-
a modest, not
Yeah.
your modest, but a
Oh
modest.
yeah, there's nothing about me that's
Yeah.
modest. Apparently.
Obviously not. We
No.
know this. And Jason Webster sends it a very generous Australian $10. Thank you for that. It says, hole in the wall, crazy head, classic. Tom, what about a hillbilly hit by Martha and the Inbreds? The lights were out. Didn't know he was my cousin. Hillbilly music, also known as trailer rock. I will think on that one and see what I can come up with. Hole in the wall actually came from Sander Hammerslag. I don't know if he's in the chat right now or not, but so you never know. Okay. In fact, I was thinking about at some point, maybe this weekend or sometime this week, doing like a stream and actually writing a song with you guys. If not this week, maybe sometime in the next couple of weeks here. I got to re-up my subscription as well so I can get some more points to work with. Yeah, when I can actually work out my financial situation, then yeah, that's a plausibility. And you're doing your part to help me here with this, Jason. So yeah, the lights were out. Didn't know he was my cousin. Okay, I'll have to Martha and the Inbreds. Okay. All right. Let me take down this information so we have that for later. And I'll see what I can come up with that. Sometimes the difficulty is just getting the system to let me say some of these things. You'd be surprised what it won't. Sometimes it makes you more creative. Instead of going for the easy.
I found that with Chat GPT, it's like it won't draw you like a character like a Superman or Batman, but if you tell it to draw, it's 20% different.
Well, and I was having so much trouble with this more recent one I was working on. I couldn't believe it. Because it was weird, because it would let some things go through, then it wouldn't let other things go through. It was just really nuts. In fact, it's only like a minute long, so I'll play it here real quick for you guys. So that's a good way for us to go out today. So before we play that, let's let everybody do their plug-in. Who's got something to plug here? Nick, you got a show coming up here in just a little bit.
I do. Toxic Tuesday, Dazed and Confused. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be nice, and there's gonna be a whole lot of drugs. So
got any weed, man? Cooler if you did.
I'm gonna watch Angry Affleck again. So yeah, should be fun. Come hang out with us. For the usual suspects, I know you'll be there. It's gonna be fun. If you haven't come on, hang out
drop
before,
in, but I actually might have something to work on, which really pisses me off right now. But yeah.
Okay. Hey.
But work comes first, so yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
work comes first, Thomas Connors Jr.
That's what I just said.
And Twinkies and ho-hos later.
Ooh, he gets ho-hos?
If he does all of his work, he gets half of one ho-ho.
How does that work?
Tonight, I'm going to take all the ho.
Anyway, check out Toxic Tuesday starting up here in about a half hour or so, give or take.
Yes,
This stream
sir.
will actually send you over there. We have Kalabi. What you got coming up?
No, tomorrow night, the wild card Wednesday night, and Thursday night, the clubhouse with Raquel and Mark. Friday night, on J-Man's channel, we'll continue our reviewing of Jack Kirby's run of Fantastic Four every week on Friday, Fantastic Fridays. Hanging with Nick and the gangs Friday night, and Saturday night Star Trek after that, oddly enough, on Saturday night. Thanks for having me, buddy.
As always. CC.
I'm still recovering from falling on my face. So I think Friday the 24th or the 31st, one or the other, depending on how things go, will be the return of live Friday night karaoke. But for now, you could just catch me here with Tom and friends on Mead and possibly on Sundays with Culture Casino.
Sounds good. Mikey, you're not a YouTuber, so I don't know if I should bother asking you, but you got to hang out today and rub elbows with Dean Cain again, I saw.
I did. I was
Mister, I'm not even sure if I'm going to show up on the stream.
I booked that 2 weeks ago.
I know. I'm just picking on you because I could tell you were in a pissy mood.
Yeah,
I hope you had a better day. Yeah, I was worried about you. I wanted you to call me, but you were busy, so.
And then I had all kinds of fires burning out of control.
That's what I'm saying.
I've had a rough day. Things are looking better now on the home front with Max. His mom's doing a great job.
Good.
Thank God I get along so well with his mom. But she's handling business, and it's just hard. Like if your kid has a problem, it's one thing if it's across the city or across the county, but
it is.
Fuck, I'm 1,000 fucking miles away. I can't be there when disaster.
Trust me, I can relate.
Fucking suck.
glad
But
to hear.
thanks for having me. This was very therapeutic. I was looking forward to this all afternoon. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to make it, but this is home. So thank you.
Well, this is just for you.
It's a combination of Dirty Dozen, Seven Samurai, and Star Wars in space.
Star Wars and space.
Wow, too soon.
I'm gonna play that to no end, just so you know.
I think I'm starting to feel like I don't even get triggered anymore. I think I'm starting to get over my Snyder bro ho-ness.
This is a true story too. 6.
Oh-ness.
What I do now?
Well, if I was the biggest Snyder bro ho, who the
What
fuck
haven't
was
you
it?
done?
What did I do now?
You existed.
What did I do now? How did I fuck up?
That was good.
Anyway, I love you, Mike, and I'm so glad you made it here, and I'm glad you're having a better day than you were this morning. You had me worried.
Oh, it's been a rough 2.5 days since Sunday.
Indeed. So with that, I'm gonna make you laugh a little bit more. Here's the one I've been trying to work. If I could just get it to go through, which is weird because like it would work and then it wouldn't work, and I didn't change anything. It was just like being an asshole. So
He rolled up in his fancy car and sat next to me at the bar. Gave me an awkward glance, then asked me if I wanted to dance. Now I'm not gay, but I have to say, this man looks like he had some money, so I admit that I'm weak and might sacrifice and cheat. I wouldn't say this kind of thing's below me. I mean, $20 is $20. Sometimes you just gotta fuck, or maybe get down to suck. $20 is $20. That bar bill's not gonna pay itself, and I'm not doing it for my health. So who cares if I take a shot in the butt to pay for a few shots? Maybe if I didn't drink so much. Now I'm not gay, but I have to say, this man looks like he had some money, so I admit that I'm weak and might sacrifice some cheap. I wouldn't say this kind of thing's below me, oh. I mean, $20 is $20. Sometimes you just gotta fuck, or maybe get down and suck. Just $20 is $20. That
$20 is $20.
And I'm not doing it for my health.
Yeah, see, $20 is $20, y'all. Is that the next hit? I don't know. I got a lot. I got a lot of them. So stay tuned, kids. Stay tuned. Especially, I seen Mark Skid and the Skid Marks. Somebody said there was a great. I have a whole album on most of them already. So just stay tuned. And Rash as well. So for those who are enjoying it, I'm glad that you are. Thank you for that. And yeah, I'm going to try to bop into Nick's stream if I can tonight. And of course, the morning show tomorrow. What is tomorrow? Wednesday. So that means I also have physical media and all that good stuff. So yes, hopefully I'll see you guys around those shows as well. And check out these guys' channels. And Mikey's not a YouTuber.
Nope.
So with that, let's get out of here. What do you guys say?
Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
Excuse me, ma'am. No porn at the bar.
Oh, it's okay. I'm transgender.